Scar Audio sound deadening is the best sound deadener for the price compared to Dynamat. I'm doing the foxbody right now. I want to show you guys what I've got going on is let me show you real quick. So I'm sound deadening everything on the car. I'm installing the Wolfbox digital dash cam. So it'll basically, the foxbody one I've taken out like this, and I've pulled the metal piece out. I'm going to install a brand new one here. This goes to here. These screw out, and then that piece is going to mount right in the middle, and this will be my new dash cam, and I'm going to hardwire it all in, and I'll have basically my radar detectors hardwired in, my dash cam, everything. But what I wanted to show you guys, and why I'm making this video, why the car's taken apart or coming apart, is sound deadening. So my car is really quiet and doesn't have a ton of rattles, and I'm going to show you guys how to get rid of them. So if you listen here, see how hollow that is? So you have to do the inside skin, the outside skin, and then the back of the door panel, and then new clips, and that fixes that. But the biggest thing on the fox bodies is all the plastic trim, okay? So look at all this trim. Now keep in mind, what I'm doing is going to add weight to your car. So if you're all worried about weight, then don't do this. Me, I'm not worried about the weight. I'm putting a VMP, I'm putting this Magnuson VMP supercharger on top of my Coyote here shortly, and I'm going to make all kinds of fucking horsepower, so I really don't give a shit about the weight. You know, to a certain point, you know, adding 100 pounds of sound deadening, or, you know, 90 or 100 pounds or 120 pounds of sound deadening isn't going to kill me. When it comes to this car. With the 10R80, it just rips as it is, you know what I mean? So each box of the sound deadener is, you know, that right there. So that's for the bolt kit. For the Scar Audio is just as good as Dynamat, in my opinion. All these other Amazon sound deadeners are complete junk. So if you buy the other stuff, like this stuff right here, I figured out is complete shit. You know, if you take a piece of that, which is super skinny, is not even in the same league as that. Now this is the wooden piece that goes over all my amps, which I took my amps out because I'm sending them back. So I just put the 6-channel JL amp in. But that's what goes in under this, where my battery sits and everything. And then, as you can see, all this is sound deadened. All this is sound deadened. I'm doing the roof next. I've done the full floors and the doors. And I've got 2 boxes in this car now. So that's what, 60 pounds. So you add one more box, you're going to be at 90 pounds of sound deadening. That's up to you. If you don't want to do that, like me, I don't give a shit. You know, with the blower, you know, it's not going to matter, but it does make a difference. Now, here's where people go wrong is, so these are for your headliner. You can hear how tinny these things are, like these metal clips. I don't know, it's hard to hold this, but you can just hear it's super tinny, right? So you want to take your sound deadening. These are all the things you need. You need sound deadening, closed cell foam like this right here. What you want to put in is just a foam backing, and you want to put sound deadening in these things so these clips can't move and hit this, and make these clips nice and tight. And then you want to put closed cell foam on everything, and then you want to use, so you're going to take the sound deadening, closed cell foam, that's going to stop vibration and block road noise. And then you're going to need Gorilla Snot, like this stuff right here on a roll. And every clip, every screw, anything that basically touches metal to metal or plastic to plastic or plastic to metal, you want to deaden. And that, if you do that on every single panel in the car, you're going to find out really quick that it's going to make a massive difference. So right now I'm installing the hardwire kit for the radar detector and the Wolfbox dash cam, which I already installed the camera in the back. I've ran the wires back. So basically I've sound deadened my center console, my lid, you know, so I've got my lid, center console, all the center console sound deadening, all the bottom floors, the doors, all these plastic pieces. I go through every time I work on my car, and I pull something apart and I sound deaden it, and it makes a massive difference, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, these cars, they're never going to be like a Cadillac. They're never going to be super quiet. And, you know, I come from car audio. So for me, I love hatchbacks because I love stereos. So if you are a notchback guy, this might not pertain to you, and you could care less. But Me personally, like you can even see on my doorway over there, see the sound deadening poking out? You can't see that when the door's open or closed or whatever. It's just on the inside there. But I've sound deadened as much as I can, and I will keep going until I'm happy with the car the way it is. You know, it's still going to have road noise, and it's not going to be as quiet as, like, say, my new truck, but it's going to make a massive difference. For 90 pounds of sound deadening, if I get the roof done, the floors, the doors, and the back, you know what I mean? Like for 90 pounds, I'll take that all day. You know, 90 pounds with the Coyote, I probably saved a little bit of weight here and there. You never know. So let's say the car's 3,400 pounds with sound deadening and everything, and the blower, everything. That's still light. That's still the same weight as this SN95 right here. This car's 3,550 with the stereo, blower, everything the way it sits. So a Terminator's 3,800. You know what I mean? So you're still light. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have peace of mind. Your car's insulated. I got heat rejection window film on here, which makes a massive difference. 99% heat rejection on these window film, front windshield, back windows, sides, back, everything. So that's what I do for a living. So that's going to be massive. And then we're going to install a cowl hood. That'll save me a little bit of weight. The blower is going to add weight, obviously. Eventually I'll do Recaro seats, you know, but you know, the bottom line is you have to understand that these are fox bodies. They're never going to be perfect, but you can still use the tips I just gave you to make things better. And that's what I've done here is I've gone through and I'll drive the car, and you sometimes can't pinpoint where a rattle comes from. But when you have this kind of money invested in a car, like, you know, you want to be able to enjoy it. And for me personally, I want to drive this car down the road and not hear any rattles, like the day they came off the assembly line. Even the day they came off the assembly line, they probably had rattles, because my dad owned one of these when I was in high school, you know, and the car wasn't even that old. And so, you know, at the end of the day, they were just plasticky, you know, they were made in the 90s. This one's a 90, but he had an 80, I think an 89. But the bottom line is so when he had it, it was like in the 2003, 2002 is when he had it. So it wasn't that old, but at the same time, you know, it was still older, and it still had rattles. And then when you add stereos and subs and amps and all this stuff, you're going to get more rattles. And then as time gets loose, so these door panels are on there good, you know, like they're nice, you know, on there. But I mean, you know, it's because I've taken these steps that I just showed you guys, and I've bought all those materials, and I've gone through and I've sound deadened everything that I can, and that eliminates, like this side. Hear that? I haven't done this. Hear that? So you got to go through and find what's making noise and fix that. And so like when I put the dash back in, I sound deadened all that. Just little things make a massive difference. And as a car guy, that's what I want to do, is I want to make these little adjustments to make my car better. I have GPS in this car with the Kenwood doubled in. I have Wi-Fi in this car. A deaden radar detector. I've got the N gauge. Basically, I've got, you know, big mids and highs, mid-bass drivers, and I had 3 amps in here. Right now there's only 1 because I'm sending 2 amps back to get refreshened. But basically, yeah, I mean, you've got to sound deaden all this stuff if you want it to be quiet. And with the Coyote, because it's not a push rod and it's not cammed and it's not super loud, you can hear all those things when you're driving it. Before, you know, on this other car, for instance, this convertible, I've sound deadened a lot too. But this car, you can, you know, put the top down. You're not going to hear those vibrations as much. The car's stupid loud. It's got SLP loudmouth ones on it with cats, but it's still really loud for a catted X pipe. And you can hear the blower whine. So it's not the same as a cab that's closed, like a hatch on a Fox. So that's my opinion. If you want to do it, you have to thoroughly clean everything with alcohol or degreaser, and you have to come in. This is the kit I'm using to put the Wolf Box digital dash in. Sorry, I've got crap everywhere here, guys. I just figured I would shoot this off the hip for you guys to show you guys. But you can, if you guys need all these part numbers, I can give you all these part numbers on how to make all this stuff work. See how I'm already sound deadening the back of this. It goes to the Wolf Box. These little screws will come out like this, and then this bolts onto this, and then you've got yourself a new rearview mirror. But this plate and this were going to vibrate, so I sound deaden that. And it's only the closed cell foam or whatever it's called. But, you know, it's definitely worth doing. If you just follow these steps like I'm giving you guys, you can eliminate all these vibrations in these Fox bodies and any noises you hear. I don't care if you have a super low mileage one, you're going to have something. You know, my brand new pickup has something that gets on my nerves, you know, here and there. Especially when I put that car seat in, the car seat makes noise. So there's things that you might not hear that I'll hear, but I know for a fact that adding this stuff to this car made a massive difference. So if you're interested in it, take this, you know, and run with it. If not, you know, it is what it is. But the bottom line is I want my car as quiet as I can get it. I want it to be as insulated as possible. So the heat rejection film, the insulation, and the sound deadening. I understand it's going to add weight, so we're adding 90 pounds of weight. With the stereo, I bet you anything, this car right now probably only weighs 32, maybe, yeah, probably 3,200 pounds. And then adding that blower, you know, it's probably going to weigh 3,400 pounds, 3,450. And then if you add me in it, 34, 35, 3,600 pounds probably. But maybe lighter than that. I'm just kind of going off the cuff on what I think it might weigh. I don't even know what the car weighs now. This car flies, you guys. So, I mean, trust me, it's fast. So even if it weighs a little bit more, it doesn't matter. If it was a turd and it wasn't fast, I would be like, okay, don't add all this weight to it. But I promise you, this car is pulling like a freight train, and you can go into my other videos and look at that. This is the Gen3YoT 10R80 Ford control pack, AC heater, power steering, power brakes, full stereo, weld 3-piece wheels, Brembo brakes, and Cobra rear brakes. What else? Maximum Motorsport suspension on everything. I've got the Panhard bar and torque arm bar over there just sitting there that I can install. But before I do those two things, I want to try something with the rear axle or the rear end to see if I can mess with some pinion angle things. I just got the brand new Spall heat exchanger for it, with dual fans right here for it, GT500 mounts. I got the MAF Racing crash bar for it, and we're going to go with the VMP blower here. We're going to run the 56-pound injectors for now on pump gas and see what kind of power we can make on pump gas. Right now, the car's on E85. It loves E85. I love the price of E85. I love how the car runs. I test my E85 every time I get it. I would highly recommend you grab one of these E85 testers and test it and make sure it's E85. I run deadens or Valentine 1 radar detectors. The sub box is a custom sub box. It's actually hyper light MDF, so it's super light, but it's been, you know, basically sound deadened as well for vibrations. It's ported and tuned to a super low SPL because I run a Moscone processor, which I tune everything through a computer. I run 4-inch in the dash, 6.5s in the doors, and those 4-inch play all the way up to 18, 19K, so you don't need to run tweeters. Which is really nice because if you add tweeters, it gets real complicated real quick when it comes to locations in this car, and I don't want to add anything or cut anything too bad. And then I don't use rear fill, but sometimes I can turn them on. You know, I've got 5 1/4s and tweets in the rear if I want to use rear fill. Kenwood DNN 992 HD deck, which is an older Kenwood deck, but it's still working great, so I keep it around. It's got 4 volts output, but by the time you put it into the Moscone, it's got 8 volts of output. I usually run 3 JL audio amplifiers, HD amps, but unfortunately I'm getting some gain noise with my HD amps, which are right here. Every time I go to adjust the gain, it was doing this crackle noise, so I'm going to send them back. These amps are literally probably 15 years old. I mean, I've ran them for so long, but I've got Alpine amps, JL amps, Focal amps. I've got all kinds of stuff. You know, I've got mid-bass drivers, but here's my other JL amp. So I'm going to send those back. I got extra Moscone processors. This is what I had in the rear before. which is, you know, okay. It's a 4-inch and a tweet, but these are what are going in the doors once I get the setup the way I want it. So I'm gonna have to spend some money soon here. But I usually run a rear fan. I run all the best JL Audio RCAs and power wires all separated so you don't get the engine noise. I run 8-gauge speaker wire, all best, you know, if you're going to do it, you do it right, basically is what I'm getting at. So that's where I'm coming from. My dad owned a stereo store. I grew up in car audio. And then I started building Mustangs when I was 15 years old. I was given the keys to one. It said, if you crash it or you take it, I'm going to say you stole it if you get caught. So I drove them 14, 15, 16. For 2 years, I drove a 5-speed 5.0 Mustang without a driver's license. I had to do fuel pumps on them, learn how to fix them. And that's how I got into all this. And then from here, I just did this whole coyote swap myself. I shaved this engine bay myself. I did all the body work myself, color sand, paint, whatever. I can do usually myself. So this car, eventually I probably will paint it myself. This car, we did all the body work and paint too, and this is about a 15-year-old paint job, and it's still going strong. It looks absolutely stunning. This car I've owned for literally probably 17 years or something, and it's an amazing car. I haven't driven it in a while. It just sits. It's got chrome Rovos, Brembo brakes, R888s all the way around, gears, Tremec trans, stock lower block, but it's got heads, cam, intake, System Max intake that I powder coated, upper and lower, Vortec, S trim that just got rebuilt, power pipe. It's got Motion Raceworks catch can with the vents on my trick flow valve covers. It's got everything, guys. Bigger alternator. It's got great hertz mids and highs, JL amps, deck. It's got everything. It's a really sound, badass little car. I mean, I had it sold for 20 grand, and some fluke thing happened where the guy tried to make it here and couldn't get here, so I just took it off the market. I'm not going to sell it for, and you know, for what I got into it. I mean, say you go to buy this intake right here, you can't even buy that intake for $1,200, $1,500 is what they're selling them for now, especially ported and powder coated. And then the blower, I mean, you know, by the time you add up everything I got into this car, 20 grand's nothing. You know what I mean? Now, if you're broke, I understand that sounds like a lot of money to you, and you're thinking it's, you know, it's not worth that. But you haven't seen the car in person. You've never driven in it. You have no idea how it drives, how it idles, how the AC blows cold, how there's not vibrations everywhere, how the paint's absolutely stunning, and almost, I'd say, you know, I do this for a living, but I would say the paint's probably a solid, you know, 8.5 out of 10. You know, there's probably a chip here. You know, there's a couple little small chips right there, but body's straight as an arrow. There's no rust on this car. So it's a nice car. All new glass, heat rejection window film, sound deadened. It's got this styling bar with the rear glass window plus the tonneau cover. That glass window, tonneau cover, and styling bar alone are worth good money. Saline rear wing. What else? It's got a lot of nice parts on it. Cervini's hood. Everything was paint matched. You know, HIDs or LEDs, I forgot. Just, you know, all the best parts, all the best stuff. I should shave the bay on this one next and maybe coyote swap it, but I was going to sell it because it doesn't get driven, but I'm not going to sell it for cheap. So bottom line is, guys, let's get back to this video. If you want your Fox to be quiet and you got money invested in it like I do, that's how you do it. Hear that? So see, I need to fix that right there. That's a rattle. I've sound deadened all this, but look. See, I just found a rattle right there. That's a rattle. So that's going to get fixed. More sound deadening. But that's the thing that you have to do. And then the other thing too is when you sound deaden all these cars, you're going to find out real fast how many holes you got in these cars that never got stuffed, or there's stuff going on with them. You find out real quick if you got a nice car or not. So this is kind of a video. This is raw. There's no cuts. There's no edits. I'm just kind of telling you guys how I am and how I do it, and you guys can take it how you want. But like I said, I built this car, and it's a hell of a damn car. I'll be honest with you guys. This car is a fucking ripper. Excuse my language if there's kids in the room, but Yeah, it's definitely, it's tame, it's easy to drive. It can be a, super, my wife could drive it if she wanted to, but if you light this car up and you stall it up and you hit it and it dead hooks, it's ripping. I mean, to the point where your heart starts racing pretty good. So I think adding, 8 pounds or, 8 pounds of boost is going to be perfect, is what it needs, I think. And even 8 pounds of boost is perfect. I think it'll run, low 10s, and it'll be plenty fast enough. Right now, it's probably a 1090, 11.0 car right now, depending on the weather, intake temps, and if it dead hooks or not, I would say. Which is faster than most stuff out there. I mean, Coyotes, new S550s don't stand a chance on this car. Trust me, been there, done that. You name it. Shit. It's just, most cars aren't, trust me. And then on the highway, this car will do 200 mile an hour, I guarantee it. I have pulls on there from 60 to 130, and it just keeps pulling. I mean, this car doesn't want to do anything under 100 miles an hour constantly. It's crazy. That's why I spent so much money on radar detectors on all these cars, is I don't want to get tickets. But it flies, guys. So I just wanted to make this video to show you guys how to sound deaden these cars. The other thing you can do is start with your wheel wells. So like if you pull my wheel well arches out, I put that closed cell foam on there and sound deadening, and that helps dramatically too with road noise. Like I said, you're never going to get it to a new car, and it's never going to be perfect, but you can make fine-tune adjustments as you go to make it better and better. These quarter windows are aftermarket. I do get noise in from them because they're not as thick as the factory ones. So I'm going to send these off and have these dolled up. These are the factory ones, and have them restored, and then I'll reinstall these. These are way heavier dutier. Way heavier, way more duty, and the glass is thicker, and so I'll reinstall those and take these ones out when I do the paint or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a message or a comment, and I'll respond. And yeah, that's where we're at with the foxbody. Today I'm doing this, installing the dash cam, sound deadening more stuff, and then I got to roll these rear fenders so I can lower the back down more because it's starting to hit my tires, and I don't like that. And then I still have to polish the inside barrels on these. I did the fronts, I haven't done the rears yet. And I've got to, I want to do 3-inch cap back all the way back before the blower goes on. And then I like the MagnaFlow exhaust. It's quiet. Sorry this video is so long, but that's kind of where we're at. Eventually I'm going to do new front windshield because the side glass is actually beautiful on this car. And then I might have to do, well, we'll see. I like the back window. I think there's no issues with it, but there was a sticker on there for so long when the car sat out in the sun from the previous owner that it's embedded in the glass, I think, because it's not in the tint. So I don't know what's going on with that. So we got to figure that out. But other than that, guys, this car is coming along long ways from what I bought it for, and then what I've done to it. And yeah, I mean, I love driving it. It's 1,000 miles on it, no issues, no bucking, no stalling, no surging, no dying. It's just start, go, and rips. And gas is cheap because it's on the 85. AC blows ice cold, heater works perfect, stereo's fucking incredible. Right now it's not because obviously I don't have the amps in there, but that's kind of where it's at. So if you guys have any questions about the Coyote swap, shoot me a comment, and yeah, I hope this helps, guys. Later.